The difference between coaching and therapy is often stated like this, that coaching is, it's future-oriented and action-oriented. I mean, it's about changing your life. It's not so much oriented toward the past. So you could say it's present, time, and future. Now, of course, the kind of coaching we do has a therapeutic effect. So it's not that different as I see it. And we are focusing maybe more on the present moment than on the future. However, that doesn't mean we don't include the future. In fact, that's where the saying, the proof of the pudding lies in the eating of it. You can have a beautiful recipe and you can have all kinds of fantastic intentions when you make a pudding. But if it tastes like shit, same. You can have a beautiful coaching session, but if nothing changes in your life, something is missing. So the proof of the coaching lies in how your life shifts. What shifts in your life? Are you more at ease? Do you feel less stress? Are you more in touch with love, generosity, compassion, freedom, creativity, joy? That's the purpose of coaching, is to live more in our power, in our freedom, in our creator energy. And the coaching session is to look at, where do I choose differently? Where do I choose victimhood? Why do I choose it? What's the vulnerability inside that? What's painful? And how could I choose differently? And what would that take? What do I long for? And what things can I do to make that change come alive? In other words, we want to include doing. Now, a doing can also be a self-reflection. So let's say I'm coaching Sarah, and you want to have a better relationship with your boss, maybe. You want to feel more connection with your boss. And then we look at everything that you find problematic and the pain you feel, and we allow the feelings, and we discover it's something about the way your father and mother related with each other, which is being recreated. And you feel the feelings around it, and you feel the longing. And maybe you play with a little role play. So if I'm your coach, you say, okay, now you are the boss and I am you. And we'll just look at each other for a moment. You look at me as your boss. How did that feel? Oh, now I see something new, that I can be a pain in the ass sometimes. I can be very demanding. Interesting. We play with it, and then towards the end of the session, when things have opened up more, I ask, okay, so now if you imagine going to the office again on Monday, how could you approach it differently? How would you like to approach it? Well, I could be more listening. I could actually ask my boss more questions. I could show more interest in my boss. I thought that the problem was that he never shows me interest, but actually I have never showed him any interest either. So I would like to show him some interest and ask him some questions. How is it to be a boss? I never asked him. I thought that it was only the boss was supposed to show interest in me, like my father. I thought my boss was supposed to be the loving father I never had. But he's not my loving father, he's my boss. We're two adults meeting. And so on. So I decided, this week, I am actually, instead of demanding more attention from my boss, I'm going to give more attention to my boss. And then I was, interesting, so how will you do that? How will I do that? I will, actually I will ask him if we can have lunch together, and during that lunch break, I'll keep the attention on him. I'll be curious. Okay, when? on Tuesday. And if not Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, ask him when he can do it this week. Okay, when will you ask him? When will I ask him? See, we're creating commitment to the action here. Not just a vague wish. Sometime I will talk to my boss. And in the future, I'll spend more time with my mother. When? How? Which way? Getting specific. On Monday, I will ask him. Good. Now it's clear. On Monday, you will ask your boss if you can have lunch together sometime during the week, and during that hour, you'll be curious about him. Ask questions. Good. Anything else you would like to do? No, I think that's good for now. Okay. I look forward to hearing how it went next time we meet. That's coaching, not just opening up and feeling big and expanded, but taking that expansion into action. But the action could be that Sarah is not ready for that. So maybe she decides, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next week asking myself why I get so triggered by my boss, because I don't know exactly. What is it that annoys me so much? So I'm going to explore this week and be curious about my own triggers and what needs are behind them. So I'm not going to do anything outside, I'm going to do something on the inside. I'm going to be curious. So the action doesn't have to be an action in the world, it can be a self-reflection. This week I'm going to ask myself the question, what is love? Because I think I know it, but I realize I don't really know it. So I'm going to spend a week asking myself this question, what is love? Every morning. And then I will say, as a coach, I will say, okay, how will you do that? How will you remind yourself to do that? Okay, I'll take 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, where I do it as a meditation, and then during the day when I remember it. Okay, that's a clear action. So an action can be an inquiry, an action can be a curiosity, and an action can be an outer action. Invite somebody for lunch. You get the point? That's the action step. So the coach, you do the full coaching session. What issue would you like to explore? Hearing the story, feeling the vulnerability, feeling through it, the longing. Allowing things to open up, and then asking questions that, okay, how would you like to explore this? What can you do with this? And since we're talking about relationship this week, make it a session about relating with people. Look at some way that you relate with people that you're curious about. I tend to withdraw from people I don't know and wait for them to show me that they like me. But in fact, they never do because they think I don't like them. Maybe. And then you can spend the next 2 days somehow exploring it in this group, your pattern. So it can be exploring it, outer action. Well, this week I'm actually going to ask somebody to go for a walk because I like that person. I never do that because I'm too afraid and I didn't even think of the possibility that that's allowed. So I'm actually going to go to Regina and say, you know, I'd like to connect more with you. Do you have time for half an hour walk in the forest? I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. I'm going to be the creator of my connections. Or this week I'm going to notice how I relate with people in terms of my body language. I'm just going to notice my body language around people. How does my body respond to other people? Nobody else has to know about my action. It's just an inner exploration. So it can be an inquiry action, can be an awareness action, can be an action. And then you'll meet your coach on Saturday, and the coach will say, how did that go? What did you learn? What did you discover? Well, I forgot all about doing it. Okay. Interesting that you forgot. What does that reflect about your life? That you make up your mind about something and then you forget all about it. Something to learn, something to explore, you know. In this way, you get an experience of watching somebody else coach. You get the experience of following up a coaching session. You get an experience of introducing the action step. But the main thing, of course, is empathic listening. Loving presence. You just give your partner loving presence. That's the main thing. And trust your intuition. So I'm not going to say step 1, step 2, step 3. Go with the flow, you know. Maybe let go of everything we've learned and just trust that what's needed will come. The main thing is being connected and open.